Hello everyone, Edshara here, and today I'm sharing my September wrap-up. So of the 4 books that I shared with you guys in my library haul, I finished 3 of them. All of those are the library books. I'm still working on my TBR pick for the month, but I will give you a few of my thoughts on that one as well. So first up we have You Don't Know My Name by Kristen Orlando, and this one featured the 17-year-old girl who was raised and trained to be a spy, and I knew I was going to like this one, but this was one that I was still pleasantly surprised by how good it was. I thought that it was well written, but also the plot was very well balanced. There was a good mix of the action and spy stuff, as well as the teenage drama, the family drama, and the romance. And I was looking forward more to the action and spy stuff. I wasn't really interested in the romance, so I was glad that it did not take over the plot. The author also did a really good job, I think, with the main character, Reagan, I believe is her name. She was this tough girl who was very disciplined and mature, but at the same time, she still was very much a teenager. And so I liked that she had a few moments of immaturity. She had a few moments where she kind of questioned, you know, everything that was happening and if this was really the life that she wanted to lead. And so it was so nice to see that she wasn't, you know, like a typical teenage girl character where she was, you know, over dramatic and whiny and that kind of thing, but at the same time she wasn't like this stone cold tough girl where nothing bothered her. I also really enjoyed that the author took some risks in her plot. I think there are some things that happen, especially towards the end of the book, that you don't really expect. You don't really see them coming, and so it was nice to know that the author kind of went a little bit against what readers would typically expect in a book like this. This is the first in a series. I am interested in the second book, although I don't know how excited I am because I read the synopsis for the second book and it's a little bit predictable, and I was kind of hoping that the author wouldn't go in that direction, but I don't know. I guess I have to read it to see, because this one was really good. I was pleasantly surprised, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. Next up we have City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, and this is one that I haven't reviewed yet on Goodreads, but when I do I will probably end up giving this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book, but I will be honest and say if this had been any other author, I probably would not have rated this book as high, and that is because I personally don't think anything edge of your seat, suspenseful, I have to keep reading, happens until the end of the book or towards the end of the book. And even when it does, it's kind of, you know, nicely and quickly wrapped up in a few chapters. But it is Victoria Schwab, y'all, and she is slowly becoming one of my favorite authors. I love her attention to detail. I love how she crafts her plot and creates her characters. I am just so enthralled with her work. I want to devour all of her books. I personally enjoyed seeing how she, you know, handled ghosts and, you know, their relation to the living world. I also liked how she treated beyond the veil and what happens, you know, behind the veil and what happens here in the living world and what's right and what's not right, and you know how things are supposed to work and go. I also loved how she created the characters. I think sometimes when you're dealing with middle grade or YA, you can have characters that are a little extra. They can be, you know, overly funny or overly whiny or overly bossy, and I felt like her characters were a good mix of, you know, all those different traits. I felt like the kids in this book were very aware of the danger. They were very aware of each other's feelings and thoughts, and you know, they also had their fun moments as well. I do plan to continue the series because I'm definitely interested to see what happens with the characters, how they grow, you know, and change as the series continues, and I'm so excited because this was really, really good, and I'd highly recommend it if you like Victoria Schwab. I'd also recommend it if you like books that are spooky but not overly scary, I think this is a good one for you guys. Then I have Landline by Rainbow Rowell, and I just finished this one last night, so I haven't written a review for it on Goodreads, but I'm not really sure how I feel about this book, and I don't really know how to describe it to you. I didn't really enjoy it. I'm stuck between a 2-star, I think, and a 3-star rating. I don't know. There were things that I liked about the characters and then things that I didn't. I loved that Georgie was, you know, this working mother. She's the breadwinner of the family. But then at the same time, I felt like she was a bit selfish and a bit too needy. Then her husband, Neil, you know, I liked that he had taken on the role of stay-at-home dad, and he was proud of it, and, you know, he did his job really well. You know, he knew the girls and what they needed and what they wanted. He took care of his wife. I loved all of that, but then at the same time, he was a bit frustrating because, you know, I think he wasn't as, I don't know how to explain it, because I think sometimes he was too understanding, and then other times he wasn't understanding enough. I don't know. I'm all over the place with this book, guys. And then her best friend Seth, he was okay, but then he wasn't okay, and there's something that happened with him at the end of the book that I felt was completely unnecessary, especially since nothing was going to come of it. I just felt like it was a waste of paragraphs. It was a waste of space on the page. And so I don't really know. I wasn't really rooting for Georgie and Neil. And I don't know. I don't know, guys. And then the last book that I'm going to talk about today is my TBR pick, and it's Everwild, book 2 of the Skinjacket trilogy by Neil Shusterman. This is also a buddy read, and I am currently on chapter 23, so I've gotten a pretty good way through the book. And I won't tell you too much because obviously I haven't finished it and it's a sequel, but I will say that so far I am just in love with this series. I think it's so good, and I think it's always fun to read 2 books that are kind of similar, either together or around the same time, because it's interesting how Neil Shusterman handles ghosts and then how Victoria Schwab handles ghosts. So I thought that was a very interesting dynamic. But I also really just love how Neil Shusterman has so many different plots going all at once, or storylines I should say, going all at once. And I'm hoping that just like in book 1 in the series, everything's going to kind of come together at the end and then set up a really great plot and storyline for book 3 in the series. The writing is well done. I'm really enjoying the characters. The old ones and some of the new ones are really interesting, and I'm liking seeing everything that's happening. And I really love this, and I can't wait to finish it to see how everything turns out. And I'm so glad that I bought the entire series so that I'm ready for next 3, ready for book 3 when my buddy's ready to read it. And that is it for the books that I have to share with you guys today. I personally am so excited that the reading slump is gone. I'm so excited that I was able to read and, you know, start and finish a couple of books this month. I'm also happy that I did not start with Landline, because I think if I had started with that book, I probably would have still been in my slump. But I'm so excited that I'm kind of getting back to a little bit more consistency like I was previous to the slump. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want. And until next time, God bless. Bye. I just feel like, I don't know. I don't know any other way to describe it, but just